Forget everything you thought you knew about the king. For over 30 years, Hollywood has fed us a monster of scales and roars, a cinematic beast that only sees you if you move. But 66 million years ago, the reality of the Tyrant King was far more terrifying than any movie screen could ever capture. Imagine a creature that doesn't just roar to scare you, but emits an infrasonic frequency. So low it vibrates your very DNA before you even see a shadow. This is not a mindless lizard. This is a master of biology. A tactical genius of the Cretaceous. Brought back to life through the lens of 2025 paleontology and cutting-edge neural AI. Today, we strip away the myths. We look into the eyes of a king that possessed the precision of a hawk, the nose of a bloodhound, and a bite force that could liquefy bone. Welcome to the true profile of Tyrannosaurus Rex. Today, we strip away the myths. We look into the eyes of a king that possessed the precision of a hawk, the nose of a bloodhound, and a bite force that could liquefy bone. Welcome to the true profile of Tyrannosaurus Rex. Let's start with the most dangerous lie. Its vision is based on movement. In reality, T-Rex had some of the best eyesight in Earth's history. With binocular vision superior to a modern eagle. A Rex could spot a meal from 6 kilometers away. But it wasn't just about seeing. It was about processing. CT scans of fossilized brain cases reveal a massive cerebrum. This was a predator, capable of complex behavior. The social strategy. And perhaps a level of cunning. we are only beginning to understand. Then there is the bite. While other predators of its time slashed or tore, T-Rex crushed. Its skull was kinetic, meaning it had built-in shock absorbers to handle the sheer violence of its own power. We're talking about 12,800 pounds of force per square inch. That is the equivalent of having a 5-ton semi-truck parked on a space the size of a postage stamp. When those serrated railroad spike teeth sank in, the hunt was already over. It didn't just kill. It erased the structural integrity of its prey. But how does an 8-ton titan move with such lethal grace? Look at the tail. A stiff, massive counterweight. That allowed for surprisingly tight turns. And despite what the movies show, a full-grown Rex didn't run in a traditional sense. At its size, a fall could be fatal. Instead, it practiced power walking, reaching speeds of 15 to 20 miles per hour. It didn't need to outrun everything, it just needed to be relentless. A high-torque machine designed for one single purpose: absolute dominance. Life for a Tyrannosaurus didn't begin with a roar. It began with a fight. Emerging from an egg the size of a loaf of bread, a baby Rex was a far cry from the apex predator it would become. Imagine a creature covered in downy hatchling fuzz, more like a nightmare version of a turkey than a king. In these early years, survival was a game of speed. They were lean, long-legged, and built for the sprint. Occupying a completely different ecological niche than their parents. They weren't crushing bones yet. They were chasing down insects. And small lizards in the shadows of the giants. Then came the teenage years, the most transformative growth spurt in the history of the natural world. Between the ages of 14 and 18, a Rex would put on nearly 5 pounds a day. Its skull deepened, its teeth thickened, and that downy plumage began to give way to rugged, battle-hardened skin. This was the most dangerous stage of its life. Too big to hide, yet not quite strong enough to challenge the established lords of the valley. It was a period of high-stakes trial and error. Where only the smartest and most aggressive reached the finish line. By age 20, the transformation was complete. The sleek sprinter had become a heavy artillery tank. This unique life cycle meant that T-Rex didn't just rule the top of the food chain. It owned the entire system. From the swift juveniles to the massive adults. The tyrant family dominated every level of the Cretaceous landscape, leaving no room for any other large carnivore to even exist. While most of the world slept, the king went to work. To understand the T-Rex, you have to understand the night. With those massive forward-facing eyes, a Rex could see in the dark. With a clarity that no human can comprehend. It didn't just stumble upon its prey, it stalked it using advanced thermal and acoustic signatures. And imagine a moonlit floodplain in ancient Montana. A herd of Triceratops is huddled together, feeling safe in the dark. They have no idea that 2 miles upwind, a pair of 8-ton phantoms has already picked up their scent. This wasn't a reckless charge. It was a calculated ambush. Using the cover of the dense conifers, the Rex brothers. Yes, they likely hunted in family units split up. One drives the herd toward the tree line. While the other waits in the absolute blackness. This is where the intelligence of the Rex shines. It understands the terrain. It understands the fear of its prey. When the strike comes, it's not a prolonged struggle. It's a surgical application of overwhelming force. One bite to the neck, a sudden snap of vertebrae, and the darkness falls forever. In the silence that follows, the true scale of the king is revealed. As the moon catches the blood on its snout, we see a creature that isn't just a killer, but a stabilizer of the ecosystem. This hunt ensures the health of the plains, culling the weak and keeping the balance. But even a king has a nemesis. Next, we look at what happens when the unstoppable force meets the immovable object. The armored fortresses of the Cretaceous. For 2 million years, the tyrant king reigned supreme. It was a world that seemed destined to last forever. But 66 million years ago, on a Tuesday much like any other, the era of giants came to a blinding, violent end. High above the atmosphere, a rock the size of Mount Everest was screaming toward Earth at 40,000 miles per hour. The Rexes on the ground didn't have a name for it, but they felt the change in the air. The birds fell silent. The wind died down. The king looked up to a sky that was no longer blue, but a burning, toxic orange. The impact in the Yucatan didn't just kill, it reshaped the laws of physics. A thermal pulse incinerated everything for thousands of miles within minutes. For the T-Rex, there was no place to hide. The apex predator of all time was suddenly helpless against a rain of fire and a nuclear winter that would last for years. The massive bodies that required hundreds of pounds of meat a day became their own death sentence. As the dust choked out the sun, the king fell. Not in battle, but in the cold, starving silence of a dying world. The irony of evolution is bitter. The very traits that made T-Rex a god, its size, its power, its dominance, were the same traits that ensured its extinction. While the giants perished, the small, the burrowers, and the scavengers inherited the ashes. But did the king truly disappear? Not quite. Next time you see a hawk circling a field, or a songbird hopping in your backyard, look closely at their scales, their movements, and the fierce intelligence in their eyes. You are looking at a survivor. Through a lineage of feathered theropods, the DNA of the tyrant survives. The king didn't just die. It shrunk. It adapted. It traded its crushing teeth for a beak, and its heavy tail for the miracle of flight. Tyrannosaurus Rex remains the ultimate testament to Earth's creative power, a masterpiece of biology that reminds us of our own fragility and the fleeting nature of empires. The king is dead. Long live the king. If you want to dive deeper into the monsters of the ancient deep, click the video now to meet the mosasaur. Don't forget to subscribe to Heritage of Earth. Our journey through time has only just begun.